Okay, so we are ready to start the ceremony, and so we are ready to invite the prorector, Professor Francesco Scarcello, and so we are ready to invite the prorector.
Thank you, dear colleagues. I'm truly pleased to represent the University of Calabria today at the ceremony for the conferment of the honorary doctorate to Professor Pardalos. Actually, one more honorary doctorate. He's collecting many awards and recognitions. Excellent. Being able to confer this title to a distinguished member of the scientific community is a source of pride for our university. Let me just say a few words about the University of Calabria. We are a scientific university in Italy with more than 24,000 students and more than 800 researchers and professors. We are the largest university campus in Italy with many services for students, libraries, and sport facilities for all tastes. And we have 80 courses covering almost all fields, from engineering, of course, to mathematics, physics, law, humanities, economics, and so on. Today is my honor to welcome Professor Panos Pardalos, whose studies show his commitment to contributing through mathematics and optimization tools to the development of increasingly relevant sectors of society, which also characterize the research in our PhD program in ICT. Let us just mention the fundamental contribution made by Professor Pardalos in the areas of environmental impact control, energy market management, and more in general, on the many possible applications of optimizations and artificial intelligence to the sustainability of the planet. And with respect, it is definitely interesting to point out the connections of such a work with the big next generation EU project named FAIR, where the acronym stands for Future Artificial Intelligence Research, but it also means fair, as for the need of fairness. In particular, University of Calabria plays a leading role. We are one of the 10 main units of these projects called SPOCs. And our SPOC that I coordinate is called Green Aware AI and aims at developing an AI that should contribute significantly to the economic and social growth in a way that must be inclusive and sustainable. We believe that AI applications should consider by design what we call the green dimension, interpreted in the broad sense of what is needed to achieve the United Nations Agenda 2030 goals. So not just green in the meaning of environment, but also green in the broader sense of inclusion, social inclusion, gender balance, and so on, all the sustainable goals of the United Nations. And in this sense, it is essential to integrate this green dimension into all aspects of decision-making, planning, and implementation. Well, it's my hope that this ceremony will inspire our students and faculty to continue to push the boundaries of discovery and innovation, and possibly to foster our collaboration on the research subjects related to the FAIR project and to the activities of Professor Pardalos. Once again, welcome to this special ceremony, and thank you for joining us as we celebrate today excellence in research and education. Thanks.
And now the second speaker is our chair of our department.
Thank you, Andrea. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of the Department of Computer Engineering, Modeling, Electronics and Systems, I extend my warmest welcome to all of you attending the ceremony for the Honorary Doctorate in Information Communication Technology, awarded to Professor Panos Pardalos, Director of the Center for Applied Optimization at the University of Florida. I personally would like to thank Professor Pardalos for honoring us with his presence today. I thank his gracious spouse, and I express my gratitude to the rector of our university, Professor Nicola Leone, for strongly advocating the celebration of this event, and to the vice rector, Professor Scarcello, for being here and conveying his institutional greetings. A special thanks goes to Professor Fortino, the coordinator for the ICT doctorate program, to Professor Sergeyev for having proposed Professor Pardalos' candidacy and for having organized this event, as well as to all the committee members present here. The department and the entire ICT doctoral committee strongly desired to confer the PhD title upon Professor Pardalos due to his outstanding scientific merits and his highly esteemed profile. So today is a highly significant day for the entire academic community, not only because of the presence of Professor Pardalos, who will deliver his Lectio Magistralis in a few moments, but also because we believe that conferring an honorary doctorate is a day of celebration for all of us. For a long time, the DIMES department, our department, has been committed to promoting excellence in research, teaching, and the so-called third mission related to technology transfer. The Ministry for University and Research for the period 2018-2022 awarded the department the prestigious recognition of Department of Excellence, which allowed the DIMES to further improve its scientific performance by setting up, for instance, cutting-edge laboratories in various fields of science and engineering. Today's event aligns perfectly with this trajectory. An excellent department conferring the PhD title upon an excellent scholar, whose contribution to various fields, such as, for instance, optimization, are universally recognized worldwide. So I don't want to take up any more time on this day. I willingly pass the floor to the speakers who follow me, this brief intervention, and I'm eager to listen to Professor Pardalos' Lectio Magistralis, to whom once again I would like to express my sincere gratitude for his presence at our university. I wish everyone a productive continuation of the day, and thank you so much for being here. I leave the stage to Professor Fortino, the coordinator of our PhD program in ICT, and please, Giancarlo.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to say that we are very glad you are here. We are very honored to have you as a candidate, okay, because we are going to give you our PhD in ICT. And then I'd like to let you know something more about our doctorate in information and communication technology, so that you can know, what are our objectives in forming new doctors, okay, and what is our doctorate, how it is organized, our doctorate, and specifically also some information about our scientific board and our students, okay? So I will be very, very brief. So as you may see, on the screen, our doctorate is very focused on information and communication technologies, specifically based on 3 sub-areas. One is on computer science, mainly on computer science and mathematics. The second one is related to electrical engineering, telecommunication, and automation control. And the third one is a recent sub-areas that we included in our PhD, that is Internet of Things. Okay, so our doctorate is very interdisciplinary in the sense that we have a professor from different areas, not just from computer engineering, but from telecommunication, automation science, mathematics, and also even from areas that are not in the information engineering area. Okay. The goal, as you may see, is to form doctors based on ICT technology in a broad sense, because sometimes we have a doctor on computer science, sometimes we have a doctor on mathematics, but anyway, the title that we deliver is PhD in ICT. Okay, so as you may see, the scientific board members are from our department, from even other Italian universities like University of Milan Bicocca and University of Bologna. We are almost 60 members coming from University of Calabria or other university in Italy. So you can see some faces, some of them are here, okay? And our scientific board is also based on members coming from research center. For example, the Italian National Research Council, okay? So we have more than 10 researchers coming from the ICAR Institute that is located here at the University of Calabria. Indeed, we also have some member coming from other research center, not from Cosenza, but from the national country, okay, from Italy specifically. And we also have in our scientific board foreign professors. Okay, so very likely we will invite you to join, okay, our scientific board for the next academic year. Okay, and as you may see, they come from different countries in the world, from USA, for example, Menshu Zhou from the New Jersey Institute of Technology, and many others from Europe, from Israel, from Australia, and from China. And last but not least, okay, we got many students. You know that the PhD in Italy is organized in cycles. We are in the cycle 38, because, you know, the PhD in Italy was founded a bit later with respect to other countries in the world, okay? So this year we are in the 38th cycle, okay? And in a little while, we reach 40 years from the foundation of the doctorate in Italy, okay? So these are the students of the last cycle. We got a lot of students from abroad. The majority is from abroad, from South America, from Asia, specifically China, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, and of course we got Italian students. Okay, so currently, you know, they are your colleagues. Okay, right now, because you are going to take our PhD title. And finally, I'd like to say that our PhD in ICT, we have, let's say, the most numerous let's say, list of PhD students, okay, in our university. This year we reached 24, 25 PhD students. Next year, very likely, we will exceed 30 PhD students. Okay, so this is a huge challenge for us, okay, for all of us, because we need to form them, we need to research with them, okay, in order to have hopefully excellent doctors in the near future. Okay, so I'd like to conclude to say thank you for being here, and we can go on with the ceremony. So we will have now, you know, the talk by Professor Sergeyev, so that we can know much better, okay, Professor Pardalos and the research, the successes he had in his career. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Giancarlo. I am very happy to be here and to present the work of our friend Panos Pardalos. So, in reality, to talk about his achievement, it is necessary to have days, because he is a distinguished person in so many different areas that it is amazing that one person was able to do so much in so different areas. So I know him for approximately probably more than 30 years as the leading figure in the field of global optimization. He was the founding editor-in-chief of the Journal of Global Optimization. He was the first president of the International Society of Global Optimization, and his role in the growing this community is incredibly fast, because 30 years ago, people were used to say that global optimization problems do not exist, that everything is local and it is possible to find everything using local method. And then, strangely enough, they have discovered that everything is global, especially now when we have machine learning problems, when we have these new artificial intelligence problems that we meet everywhere. So global optimization is everywhere. And the results of Panos in this area are really impressive. But not only, as I told you, he also has strongly contributed to many different areas. And as if you see the list of the societies of which he is a honorary fellow, you can see how broad are his scientific interests. He has won a number of major prizes, and I just mentioned two of them. This is 2013 Konstantin Karatadori Prize of the International Society of Global Optimization for the lifetime achievements in global optimization. And also in the same year, he was awarded a gold medal awarded by Association for European Operation Research Society. This is another major prize. The number of honorary doctorates is very long that he has got. So we are here with really a huge personality in the scientific international panorama. So another prize that it should be mentioned is prestigious Humboldt Research Award that he has received 7 years ago. And this is research award is granted in recognition of researchers' entire achievements to date, fundamental discoveries, new theories, insights that have had significant impact on the disciplines. And also, it is necessary to emphasize the role of Panos as an organizer of research. I have already mentioned that he has founded several good journals, and he is in editorial boards of a huge number of conferences of journals, and also he chaired approximately 100 of scientific conferences in a variety of subjects. And this is really hard because we have just finished one conference, NUMTA, that we organize every 3 years. And personally, I am exhausted, and Dmitry Kvasov, present here, I think also will sleep for a week after this. And how Panos has done this work, I do not know. This is his extra human abilities. So once again, back to journals. Here you can see highlighted some journals that he has founded. And this is really good journals. And if we go to say about publications, over 600 papers published in scientific journals and edited and authored 200 books. Again, probably Panos have the possibility do not to sleep at night and continues to work even at night. Then many PhD students that he guided and that have continued to work in the good university. So Panos is a very extraordinary person, and I'm very happy that our doctorate and our university will award him this prestigious honorary doctorate. But we are professors. We are professors, and our main goal probably is to teach students, and in particular PhD students. And sometimes our students recognize something that we have given to us. And now I would like to ask our staff to put a short movie that, in my opinion, is very interesting. This is a sequence of photographs of Panos with many eminent researchers, with his students. And I invite you to see this presentation, with which I will close my brief laudatio. And after this presentation, we will invite Panos. So please, hit video. Grazie.
Okay, now I would like to invite Professor Pardalos to come here and please to give the lecture magistralis. Thank you.
Select a topic. Your department is very interdisciplinary, and also my work is very interdisciplinary. So I work in many fields. I have been a professor, as someone mentioned, in also biomedical engineering and computer science. So you see, I have here the first slide, the brain and the machine, the picture. So maybe people they think that we can make AI to be like the human brain, but I think we are far, far away from that level yet. The machine and the brain, they're a little too far away. So that's why I thought I'd talk about AI, because there are a lot of misconceptions today about what is AI and what is not, okay? And I started my career as in mathematics and physics from the University of Athens. Then I did my PhD in computer sciences. And later on, worked in many, many applications, optimization, and so on. Okay, thank you. So I will start with Henry Poincaré that said mathematics is the art of giving the same name to different things. And mathematicians do not study objects, but the relation between the objects. To them, it is a matter of indifference if these objects are replaced by others, provided that the relations do not change. So if you start as a mathematician, you can do anything, okay? In fact, I was listening one time to the mayor of Atlanta, was giving a talk to the young students. He said that if you study mathematics, you can also be a very good politician. I think he's maybe right. In fact, it's amazing because one of the latest books in AI was co-authored by Henry Kissinger. Kissinger is 98 years old now, but still he sees the influence of AI in the society. So it's important to have politicians that they know science too. So what is AI and what is not? We know today we used, in our dictionary, we included so many names, new names, okay? Not only microscopes, telescopes, sensors, computing machines, not only computers, but analog computers, quantum computers. We talk about machine-brain interface, augmented virtual reality, digital twins. How many of you know what is the digital twin, okay? Cloud and sky computing, metaverse, augmented intelligence, ChatGPT, amazing technology, because in a few months, not even a year, over 100 million users of ChatGPT. This is amazing, amazing technology, and it constantly evolves. Okay, there's a competition now. And the politicians are involved, says, oh, don't move too fast and so on. So we see that these technologies augment our intelligence, our human intelligence. We can see things much smaller, much farther away. You can send things. You can compute things so fast. We can compute things. It will take a lot of time. So these machines, they help us augment our intelligence. Okay. But technically, AI is a term used to describe machine performing human-like cognitive tasks, okay, such as learning, understanding, reasoning, interacting, okay. But I think it's a misleading term. That's why I prefer the term augmented intelligence. Sooner or later, some terms will continue to be used because they're very sexy, like deep learning, okay? How deep is learning, okay? But no question about it that AI is as important as Thomas Edison mentioned in 1901, is the field of the fields, and indeed, it's such an influence in our society, okay? Being things, okay? So, how can we measure today, how influential is AI in our profession, in society, and so on? There are many books written, okay? A lot of books, even Henry Kissinger, I told you. But I selected a couple of books here. For example, Atlas of AI is a very beautiful book because it shows how what we do in academia influences also many other things, okay? For example, geopolitics will change. You cannot remain a superpower today without a strong AI program, okay? You cannot be a very big industrial country without AI. And another book is a brief history of AI, many books, okay? I selected a couple to show for people that they're not too much familiar, okay? So we can measure the impact of AI in two ways. One is by the patents issued and also by the publications in this field, okay? And we see that there is a World Intellectual Property Organization that keeps track of patents. Okay, WIPO, okay? For example, this is 1929 report. And of course, most patents in AI are issued in United States and in China. But now China surpassed it, okay? China is #1 in AI patents, if you check much more recent publications. So this created a new trend. AI is a national priority now, national security issue for these countries, okay? So all the United States, Canada, France, and Europe collectively, all they have initiatives for the AI economy and so on. Yeah, so the Stanford University keep tracks. There's an index, okay, of AI-related publications. And you see now in many journals, if you check, from statistics to biomedicine to engineering, AI tools in this, AI tools in this. So the number of AI publications increases drastically. Okay, this was a report of in October 21 in Nature, but it can be updated, okay, from this organization. And if you consider first the United States, which is the #1 economy in the world, okay, issued many government reports. One is the AI, artificial intelligence, automation, and economy, how this will affect, automation now is already plays a major impact in many industries, okay, and of course the economy. Preparing for the future of AI. The third report, the National Artificial Intelligence Research and Development Strategic Plan. And the fourth one, very important, because these fourth reports were always classified. Now is not classified, okay? Because it's the National Security Commission on AI. It's very interesting it's a big report. I just cut a couple of sentences from there. The successful adoption of AI in adjacent fields and technologies will drive economies, shape societies, and determine which states exert influence and exercise power in the world. Amazing, eh? That's why the politicians now, even they don't know what they are talking about, they mention AI, okay? AI. Okay, AI and data. My decision is based on data, on AI. So this is important. And continue to mention here, the ability of a machine to perceive, evaluate, and act quickly and accurately than a human represents a competitive advantage in any field, civilian or military, okay? So many projects now from the military, Air Force, Navy, United States, they have big funds, a lot of money to study different aspects of AI. And the European Commission started issuing a report, and now, as I understand, I'm talking to many colleagues in Europe. They want to initiate programs, and I see your university here already started an AI program. Excellent timing. The timing is super good because you can get a lot of funding and connection with industry, okay? So the European AI Alliance is a forum engaged in a broad and open discussion of all aspects of AI in development in CIPAC. I have this web page connection there for some people they want to check. And in China, China is very big in AI, okay? Due to its national plan for AI domination, okay? And the billions of dollars the government has invested in the field, China is poised to take the lead of AI research and usage. Already is doing it. China introduced its AI development plan in 2017 to make China an AI superpower by 2030, surpassing its rivals to become the world's premier artificial intelligence innovation center. I hope this will be another Sputnik motivation. This will motivate the Europeans and the Americans to put a lot of resources to the AI development. So I think in the future, we're going to see a lot of developments in the AI field. I have a couple of links there to this. But anyway, it's clear now that China, not only in AI, but in most of the critical technologies is number one. Critical technologies. There is a report that published last couple of months in March from the Australian Institute. In all critical technologies now is number one, even space and robotics in medicine and so on and so on. And what is next for AI in the economy? We hope that the combination of humans and machines in the workplace will make many good things. However, many times is vastly oversimplified and does not even begin to explain the magnitude and the complexity of the change. Vastly oversimplified, okay? So there's excitement, there's and anxiety, okay? Many people, you see even the people, they started the chat GPT, they say, oh, don't move too fast, okay? Why? I mean, we must have ethics. The individual is there. Do you want to be just a data point, every one of us? Already we are data points in some sense, okay? We don't want, we want to have some privacy, some individuality, and how far can you go? I mean, we are not just data, we are something else too. So we're not machines, okay? So there is a lot of excitement in this area and a huge progress, okay? So, but we cannot ignore AI in the economy of the fifth industrial revolution is at the grasp of it, okay? And this is usually triggered mainly by inexpensive memory and very fast computers, okay? Let's be honest, we don't have any big theorem in AI right now that say the major progress, because in the 60s, 70s, they promised a lot, they delivered very little. People, they characterize this as the winter of AI, but later on, because of mathematics, all these things, and for example, image recognition is so good now because we have very cheap memory and very fast computers, extremely fast computers. But we cannot ignore it, okay? And even people, they start talking about the sixth industrial revolutions, okay? So scientists start looking at the move from the accurate age of digitalization to the next socio-technological transformation, one anchored in nanotechnology now, biotechnology, quantum computing, and AI. We have now, we have DNA computers now. DNA computers have been around for several years. The first DNA chip, I remember the first Nature paper that used a DNA computer to publish a traveling salesman problem with 4 cities. Okay, that's a joke, but the concept was important. And now they can do many, many more things, okay? So there's a lot of things, okay? But mathematics, data science, and the AI, this is the key thing, okay? And we know that advances in machine learning, data science, and AI are progressing rapidly and demonstrating the potential to transform our lives, no question about it. But let's make it clear that the spectacular success of these areas relies in part in their sophisticated mathematical underpinning, okay? Mathematics, optimization techniques, operational research tools, that's what it is. Mathematics, okay? Is behind all this. I was last week, and we had the summer school on big data in Tuscany, and there were 6 people from DeepMind and they talk about optimization. They're discovered now. So what they want to do is very simple algorithms, but super fast complexity. That's the thing. Time and space complexity. That's what they're doing. So not ignore, mathematics is behind all these things. Okay, AI is that like when the humans, they discovered fire, they didn't know what to do with it. They can use it wisely, they can use it unwisely. And this is a very interesting book that mentions the consequences, the analog of AI and the new fire. Okay. But I will focus now on some work I have done related to this. Okay. AI, as I mentioned, had many influences, many things. But of course, the combination of data analysis and optimization is to find the best way to extract meaningful patterns from data if they exist. And this is not always an easy task. Okay. AI tools predict good solutions. Okay. For example, I give you a small example here. Some maybe don't be scared if there are people who are not mathematicians, because this was one of the first problems that was asked by neuroscientists. We developed getting data from the scalp of the brain. We have certain locations, and you want to select only a few locations, okay, to do the job. So say we have n locations. How can you select, a number of them whose sum equal to n? Okay, and you think it's a trivial problem. It's a selection problem. It's very difficult to a mathematician to convince a medical doctor that this is an intractable problem. Okay, intractable. Takes exponential time, even for 100 locations. Forget about 700, 800, and we are doing. Very difficult problem, okay? But that's where comes AI now here. AI predicts solutions, optimizers compute solutions, okay? And the game is how do you make the prediction very good, okay? And fast, that's the whole idea. So this is the different part of the game. Anyway, we had major applications of AI and data analytics in biomedical sciences, because I'm having it in red, because after this I will concentrate on this on the brain research, in neuroscience, cancer research, drug design, expert systems now, robotics in surgery, digital health. People, they talk about digital health. Actually, one profession that is really in jeopardy is the medical profession now. Many medical doctors can be easily replaced by 1,000 expert systems, okay? A doctor is an expert system by itself, but 1,000 together can make diagnosis much better, okay? Of course, manufacturing had a big thing now. AI in manufacturing is amazing, automation and stuff, finance and economics. Now you compute in finance things so fast, okay? So amazing, so fast. And you have to do AI techniques to predict things in agriculture, because automation in agriculture is a must. Because, for example, in Florida, that produces most of the strawberries that in the United States, everything is collected by robots. Okay, because otherwise it would be so expensive, no one will buy them. Labor is so expensive, okay, and the fields of strawberries are so big. Energy systems, the smart energy grid now, we call it, really needs AI techniques, okay? And of course, telecommunications. In fact, I worked many years ago for the first analysis of the call graph. We call the real call graph, okay, of the AT&T data, and now they have conference on the call graph. And of course, everything is connected these days, and AI plays a key tool in networks of networks. Things that became much more complicated again. So I'll discuss a few things. Tell me about the time, because sometimes I forget and I go over time.
Plenty of time.
Research, I will talk a little about neuroscience. I worked for many years in neuroscience. We try to understand the brain dynamics, okay? And there are two neurological disorders that are very simple. One is epilepsy, to do seizure prediction. It's the simplest neurological disorder, but we have many types of epilepsy, not only one, caused by neurological disorders. I'm not sure if there are any doctors here. Caused by bacterial infection, caused by genetics, caused by a car accident, self-induced. It's amazing. And anyway, we studied the epileptic network and how to predict and control epileptic seizures. And the data here is the electroencephalogram, okay, time series. And of course, there are many issues here involved, like it's a very interdisciplinary research. It needs doctors, statisticians, electrical engineers, mathematicians, and so on. How to do dimensional reduction. It involves chaos theory, how to select futures, okay, and time series classification, brain clustering, and so on and so on. And the next thing we wrote was also the Parkinson brain. It's a different one because here everything is based on magnetic activity of the brain. One is on the electric activity, the other on magnetic, okay? And we think we did some contributions here, okay? Because also part of this work with many people, okay, many patents, and a couple of startup companies. That's important. So many times in academia, we discover something, but needs to move to the industry, to the society. And this takes some time. And luckily, the University of Florida has a very good program, Office of Technology license, that helps faculty and students to move technology to industry. That's a very good thing. So some facts about the epilepsy. At least in the United States, more than 2 million Americans, okay, suffer from epilepsy. Is the second most common brain disorder after stroke that causes recurrent seizures. And epileptic seizures occur when a massive group of neurons in the cerebral cortex suddenly begin to discharge in a highly organized rhythmic pattern, okay? And we don't know how it starts. Sometimes it starts from one place, some fixed, sometimes from two fixed places, and sometimes this place moves around, okay? Where the seizure starts. It's very highly possible someone in the audience here suffers from seizures or has a family member that has seizures. It's not very uncommon. Okay? I had many people talk to me about that. And seizures usually occur spontaneously in the absence of external triggers, cause temporary disturbances of brain functions such as motor control, responsiveness, and so on. And seizures may be followed by a post-ictal period of confusion or impaired sensorial that can persist for several hours. And you don't need a lot of time to record to see what's going on, okay? 10 seconds of electroencephalography, okay, you can see what's going on, not with the naked eye. That's the issue, okay? Here's the normal, here's the procedure, okay, and so on and so on. And so, as I mentioned, oops, sorry. I went back. Of course, there are pharmacological treatments for seizure, okay, epileptic drugs, but still, a large percentage of people are not responsive to drugs, so we have to do something about it. First, we must understand what's going on, okay? And surgery is very important, especially if you discover the place from where the seizure originates, then they can do some surgery and help really the patient. There are cases where a person after surgery was completely seizure-free, okay, in cases like that. And in Florida, who are the first to have this vagus nerve stimulator, it goes under the skin and stimulates the nerve, the vagus nerve, but this nerve goes everywhere. Goes to the heart, goes to the stomach, okay, and has some side effects after some time. But hundreds of thousands of people, they use that today, okay? So they will try to, because it needs a lot of improvement, but sometimes it's difficult in biomedical devices to make improvements very fast, especially when it sells very well. So in a traditional AGG, as I mentioned, is a traditional tool. Why? Because it offers excellent spatial and temporal resolution to characterize rapidly changing electrical activity of brain activation, and captures voltage potentials produced by brain calls while communicating. And EGGs here are plugged in deep brain or placed in the scalp. Of course, you know, I'm making this story very short here. We did with a lot of experience with animals. You can easily cause seizures to, for example, to rats by destroying the gene, and after a couple of generations, all of them are epileptic, or by causing an injury in the brain, and then because of stroke, they become epileptic. But also you can do it in bent electrons and depth electrons, and you can record from different depths of the electron, but is the preferred non-invasive techniques, get the data from the scalp. Okay? And this is not easy because you must know how good is the data. Okay? And recently we have a company, I'll tell you later, we developed a cup that gets very good data from the scalp of the brain. Non-invasive, portable, and disposable, because today is a big thing in medicine, not to share anything, okay? Use it, throw it away because of communicating diseases. Anyway, here we go from microscopic to macroscopic level, okay, in NGG. Okay, of course, we want to capture all the information from the neurons. That's not that trivial, okay? We see the electrical activity there. And essentially, we have to develop a this is from the rat, from the scalp of the rat, okay? To electromontage. There are international agreements from which parts of the scalp you get the data, okay? If you have 20 positions, if you have 70 positions, 80, and so 100 maybe sometimes. And here the scalp of the human, okay? And you get data from this. And of course, there are many fundamental questions, okay, we answer here. It took us about 10 years to answer these questions, and still are working on this. Is the seizure occurrence random? If not, can seizures be predicted? Because many people are normal, okay? And if you can predict the seizure, say, look, don't drive now, or don't cook spaghetti because you are going to bury yourself. They are normal people. They have suffered from seizures. So if yes, there are seizures precursors, preceding seizures? If yes, what data mining techniques can be used to indicate these precursors? And does normal brain activity during this differ from abnormal brain activity? It's difficult to say what is the healthy brain and what is the unhealthy brain, okay? Many times we say the default brain, okay? What is healthy, okay? I mean, it's very hard to say what are brain. But anyway, we tested all these things, okay? Test the hypothesis that seizures are not a random process, demonstrated that seizures could be predicted, okay? We developed feature selections to identify seizure precursors, okay? We demonstrated that normal and abnormal NGs can be differentiated, time series classification. Not only that, we also aim to differentiate something very important. Seizures that caused from neurological disorders, seizures that caused by bacterial infections. Because say you have a child, you take to the emergency room, and the doctor is not very well experienced, okay? And sees the seizure of the child and prescribes anti-epileptic drugs, but the seizure caused by bacterial infection, the child will die. So it's a very, whatever you do in medicine has a lot of important consequences, okay? So, the normal brain is a chaotic system. If you go to the doctor and your electroencephalogram goes straight lines, you have the brain dead, okay? Of course, nobody knows what are the equations, the dynamical systems behind the brain, okay? That would be very nice to know. So the normal brain is a chaotic system, and the seizure by itself is a resetting mechanism of the brain, and then it goes back to the normal state again. But this resetting is what makes the person to say, if a computer breaks down, it takes some time to fix it, to go back into the normal. But the brain does it very fast, okay? So this concept was very difficult to understand. It's a resetting mechanism of the brain, okay? And of course, to understand what is the equations behind this is not an easy thing, okay? I have a lot of data here, but some of you that they work in dynamical systems and chaos theory, they know that the pool of exponents characterize the chaoticity of the system, the spectrum of all of them, but you cannot do all of them. The largest the pool of exponents will be enough to tell us, if we get out of this range with high probability to have a seizure. Medicine, after all, is not an exact science, okay? You don't have to compute everything exactly. Also, the data is very noisy. Nothing is very exact, okay? So we need the range, okay? And the medical people are very smart. They empirically first they observed that something is going on. Okay, they knew about chaos theory, and they had to find some mathematical foundations about this. Okay, of course, from the electroencephalography, there are many algorithms very sensitive. You can predict, you can approximate, estimate this largely a form of experiment, and you need to know only the range of it. Okay, so this is a biomarker for seizure prediction. Okay, it's very important. And of course, these are what we call STL max profiles. Okay, you don't see with the eye, with an naked eye. You have to do it, with a computer. Okay, I don't go to the details here. Okay, these are small things only the computers can see. And since you have a transition, phase transition, you need a Hamiltonian. Okay, nature always optimizes some Hamiltonians. And how do you define this Hamiltonian? There was not a trivial thing. Okay, Hamiltonian usually is a quadratic function. Okay, and based on the statistical properties of the problem, we define a Hamiltonian. Because when we apply for a patent, the objection was no random selection of the places of the electroencephalograms from the scalp is the same as what we are doing here. Okay, we have to prove them is not. And empirically, the doctors they found that you don't need all the data from the scalp. Okay, because the result of correlation. Okay, from different parts of the brain. They found out that there are few. So we found out how many and which one we had to solve a quadratic optimization problem, Hamiltonian. Okay, I won't go to the details of this. So we optimized a Hamiltonian. Okay, and it worked. And in fact, we had patterns on these things. Okay, so we have an automated thing. Of course, when you study these problems, first you do an a posteriori analysis. You have a data. Okay, you must see what you're doing. Your algorithm is good. And in fact, we are very lucky because the University of Florida has an excellent data set of seizure. It has a center of excellence in epilepsy. All these years, they collected not only the data electroencephalography, but also video. So you can see when the person has a seizure. Okay, so if you say, okay, you predict a seizure, first predict it in this a posteriori data. But in the life, the data comes in. Okay, so you must be able to adapt your algorithms to predict this. Okay, and we had a system. Okay, automatic system. And anyway, we did a good prediction, and exhaustive in order to get the patent office to approve the patent. We had to do a lot of experiments with animals and humans. Okay, to really indicate that this method succeeded. And as I told you before, we did some very nice also statistical analysis of electroencephalography. Okay, classification is very important, and here we used some of you probably know in the audience some types of support vector machines. Okay, to differentiate states of the brain. Okay, this is a support vector machine. Okay, it's done initially by Vapnik for multi-class classification, but this can be generalized to multi-class. This is mathematics here, so for some audience, we cannot avoid mathematics. Okay, in every stage, if you want to understand exactly what's going on. And we did some dynamic type approach for this. But finally, we had an automated seizure prediction paradigm. Okay, data comes in. Okay, we check things, and we did many more other things. Okay, this was the initial mechanism. Because the last few years also, we noticed we have a lot of freedom in the brain to define many networks. Okay, and we observed also different patterns of connectivity in the network before the seizure and after the seizure. So all this knowledge together can define a very good seizure predictor mechanism. Okay, we have several related patents, as I mentioned before here, many issued. Some are not issued yet because there's a lot of companies now appeared out and they challenge. They say, oh, this is a very special case of my claim. I have to challenge it again. I don't know how the system is in Italy. But getting patents is a very, very difficult task, but it's very important if you have to have a startup because intellectual property is what defines the startup these days. And we have two companies, okay, one Optima Neuroscience for seizure prediction and control of seizures. And we have now this encephalodynamics. It's the 8th year, so we developed a CAP that, as I mentioned before, gets very good data from the scalp of the brain, okay, because it needs to be put on by anybody, okay, not an expert, and you can get 10 seconds of recording is enough to, if you get a brain injury in sports, if you go skiing, if you have a car accident, and so on and so on, okay, then you transfer wirelessly to an expert, because don't forget that we have very few experts in neuroscience. The United States is in big demand, very few, okay? So you must have automated mechanisms. And even in sports not last year, the last few years, we had so many lawsuits in the United States because students have been injured in football and many other things, in many sports, okay? You don't see it immediately. And even today, if they get injured, they don't do any medical diagnosis, only they ask some questions of what's your name, what's that, and you feel okay because they want to go back to play, and then the next day they have some big consequence. Anyway, as I mentioned, brain network connectivity is important, okay? We studied the Parkinson brain. Even today, our knowledge about Parkinson disease is very limited because when the doctor diagnoses you with Parkinson, it's already too late. We don't know exactly what causes it. And because people they live longer, most of us will have some Parkinson at the end of if we reach 100 years old again. So, and of course, they start the fMRI is the key tool, okay, to study this. And we study this Parkinson brain, okay. There are many models network models you can define the human brain. For example, this is a model here with specific regions of the brain, then we connect them, okay? And why we use MRI things? Because blood flow level as an indicator of neurological activity and representation of these values of signal spatial functions as 2, 3, and 3D images. But the magnetic field is very low intensity in the brain, extremely sensitive to noise, okay? If you see hospitals, very few hospitals, they have machines to take an MRI. Very few. You've got a big shielded room, okay? Even for us, it was very difficult to get data, okay? So we did measurements here, okay, for this data from patients that they have Parkinson's, and also people that they are okay, they are normal, okay? Because we must do a comparison, the default brain and the Parkinson brain, okay? And you see here, from every pixel, we have a time series, okay? And we have to analyze this, and we use different characteristics from small world properties, okay? Networks are very efficient, okay? So in fact, we use this, what is called global efficiency and nodal efficiency, very simple indicators, but very powerful to this type of studies, okay? And of course, we did many more things before that, okay? By the way, this page here is worth a few $1 million because first we have to bring the patients to take MRI, okay, with pill and with medicine, then without medication. Then I had to ask many people, healthy people, to take MRI. But even if you have a feeling in your teeth, it causes a noise in the data, okay? So it was a very difficult thing to. So it took a lot of time and a lot of money, and we must have dedicated the machine to do this, okay? So it's this study involves a lot of effort and it's extremely expensive, okay? But anyway, we did this here, and I go directly to the results here. Even the partition of brain in regions, okay? It was done 100 years ago, and remains the same. Only a few years ago, 2, 3 years, they found out that there are other regions of the brain responsible for different types of actions, okay? So medicine moves very slowly, especially in the brain, okay? And I want to go directly. Of course, we use wavelets here. how to analyze this time series, and we use the weights of the wavelets, okay, to compute what I called before this measures taken from social networks. Okay, here is the brain. You see, in the front is the face, and here is the network we considered. Okay, visually is very simple, and we try to see what is the difference. The first step is, when you start the Parkinson brain, is to see if someone goes to the doctor, do you have a Parkinson disease or not? How to differentiate the default healthy brain from the Parkinson brain. That's very important, okay? And with this measure here, we did some ordering different parts of the brain, okay? Look here, the red line, the control set, and the blue line is the Parkinson data. Complete differentiation, okay? Just only one measure, nominal efficiency. And this is computed only from shortest paths. Very easily computed, as long as you have the data. Okay, that takes a long time. So we are able, with small network analysis, to differentiate this. But there are many other factors involved, okay, because we know that data analysis is very important, because it's understood lately that iron deposits in the brain may be associated with the Parkinson disease. But we know that iron is very little in the body, at most 2 grams, and always oxidated with something else. So we have to find traces of this, okay? With this, to identify these traces is not an easy task. Okay? So there's a lot of work has to be done, and this is only one approach. Okay, network theory can be useful to this type of activities. Okay, so this Parkinson model, I think, is very important, and many people, and we did other things also with the movement, we studied the movement, okay? Because a person, a healthy person, if the doctor tells you, look there, goes continuously. A Parkinson person goes, is a piecewise path, it's not continuous. Again, we have some patterns here related to this type of approach, okay? As I mentioned before, I don't want to go to many details now. Early 20 years ago, we realized that data today is too much, okay? The last few years, after we studied the cold graph, which was a huge data, okay? 20 years ago, we analyzed the AT&T cold graph, 70 million vertices. The cold graph is nothing else but the vertices are the phone numbers, and who calls who is a connection, okay? And of course, the AT&T has many other records, okay? The duration of the call, the credit of the customer, it has a very special dia, and so on and so on. And to make analysis of this data, which does not fit in the memory of the machine, we have to use external memory algorithms. Okay, and this time we were asked to identify clicks in this graph. First had a huge connected component, and in this connected component we made the study, and it was the first time such a big study was done, and was an article in The Economist saying, oh, these guys are looking for needles in the haystack, but later on this became a very important tool to understand this. And so we published the first book, a book of massive data sets that addresses all the challenges of a lot of data we have these days, okay? But now I'm in the opposite way. I believe that we collect too much data. Last year we published a paper, less is more approach, a new way to AI. Because we don't need too much data. You know? We have a lot of garbage, okay? And also we have too much data. It's very difficult to be secure this data, okay? Why we don't check to see which part of the data is the most useful? And if you check now, papers in Nature, appeared many papers. Less is more in neuroscience. Less is more in architecture, of course. Less is more in many fields. So it's a new direction. And I think it's not that we should think, okay? Because we have very fast computers, very huge memory. So we do brute force. That's what we do. This is not good. This is not good for our students, okay? Because they just start implementing. They don't start thinking how to have a very efficient, very nice, elegant way, and to use as less as possible as we get from the data. Because the more you use, the more dangerous to be corrupted, to be, you know, intruded. I mean, we have cybersecurity issues and so on. So I think I'm in the opposite way now. Anyway, we have many books here on this area. You know, if you have an interest, But let's see what's next for AI. Okay, I know time is very critical here. Alan Turing was the first that he wrote this famous book, okay, Intelligent Machinery, a heretical theory. In this book, there is a sentence, okay? Let us assume, for the sake of argument, that intelligent machines are genuine possibility, and look at the consequences of constructing them. There would be no question of the machines dying, and they would be aimed to converse with each other to sharpen their wits. At some stage, therefore, we should have to expect the machines to take control in the way that is mentioned in this book by Samuel Butler. Okay, so many hypotheses, if this and this and if this and this, okay. Many people are scared, okay. But there's not too much artificial in the artificial intelligence. Mathematics, it's reasoning, okay, is I think it's over simplifying this terminology, very oversimplified, okay. So I will mention this joke here, you know, about when Philip II of Macedon sent a threatening message to the Spartans. He told them, you are advised to submit without delay, for if I bring my army on your land, I will destroy your farms, slay your people, and raze your city. The Spartans replied with one word, if. Only one, if. So many ifs. So let's be a little, you know, serious. I mean, only one if. But anyway, the human brain maybe will be the next domain of warfare. Controlling the brain is a big thing now, okay? In fact, some years ago, I had a big project from Air Force to identify which parts of the brain take part in the decision making, okay? And we did with animals, okay, monkeys, okay? And you can influence, you know, because today you understand which part of the brain participate in the decision. Imagine you have to make a decision in a short time when you get input from machines, okay, from sensors, from people, okay, and you must make a critical decision, push the button or not, okay. That would be very dangerous, okay. Someone can influence your decision with a very tiny electron embedded in your scalp, much smaller than the hair, okay. The technology exists here, okay. So this is very important, okay. There are many people now, they start talking about the brain control. Maybe this is the sword of Damocles. Maybe this is very, very dangerous. We have to be very careful, okay. And there are books, okay. A neural interface is done today, okay. It's done in the rats, okay. The thinking rat, it moves around, goes to place, you know. The thinking soldier. This is not science fiction, okay. So machine-brain interface is advanced a lot. I know people, they work on machine-brain interface. Another book, very interesting, Can Neuroscience Change Our Minds? Look here, the big companies, what they do now. They convince the customer what to buy next Christmas. In the past, they used to do forecasting what they buy. Now, through advertisement, through these things, they convince you. This is non-invasive, okay? It's possible in the future to be invasive too. So you do this, okay? You do it. So we have to think about it, okay? There are many issues. So in this, you know, industrial revolution based on AI, there are many questions. And we have to be very, very careful how to address these questions and these tools. We say today, if someone has a nuclear weapon, his mind can cause problems. But what if someone has the way to control the brain? This would be even much more dangerous, okay? And of course, people, you know, these books by Harari, this last book on Homo Deus, I think is very crucial, okay? Human and God, okay? Maybe with all these interfaces, we think that we can replace, maybe not. Maybe, you know, I think we should be very careful. Yeah. So, always we should go back to the pre-Socratic philosophers, okay? Because they touched all these big questions. They didn't give answers, but they made provocative statements. They make us to think, okay? And my favorite is Heraclitus. He said here, many fail to grasp what they have seen and cannot judge what they have learned, although they tell themselves they know. I think this is a very important statement. Heraclitus is my best Socratic philosopher. According to Nietzsche, the last of the philosophers. Okay. So I think I'll stop here. I don't know about time. I hope I didn't take all your time. It's okay. Yeah. And thank you very much for your attention.
May I ask a question? So, Panos, sorry, but what was the end of the story between Macedons and the Spartans?
They didn't go.
They did not go?
No.
Okay, good.
Philip didn't go.
Mm-hmm.
One answer, if.
Okay, so maybe we got space for a couple of questions. If you'd like to, the audience, the committee would like to, just a couple of questions, because we have to conclude with, the proclamation. We got Professor La Monaca, who is from electronic measurement area.
Yeah, of course, very important observation. Everything is uncertain, and but the issue is our inability to handle uncertainty. In many cases, we can do it. Okay, we have, for example, in optimization, they have parametric optimization, stochastic optimization. Now they have robust optimization that takes it more. So when a problem involves robust optimization, we can do something. But and we know everything is uncertain. I mean, especially data, biological data has a lot of noise. But what else can we do? I mean, we have to make sure that the noise is not too big that causes, we hope stability of the problem, that we hope that a little noise makes little difference. But many times we know that little noise makes huge difference, in a chaotic system. So, and also the data, that's why I think it's important to analyze good data, as good as we can. Because still today we don't know what is the difference of the data we get from inside the scalp, inside the brain, and from the scalp. Because something is filtered. Is it filtered? And not only that, we have filters. We filter the data, but how do we know if we filter some good features? We don't know very well. I mean, so that's, in my university we have Kalman filters, okay? But many other filters they come now. And many times we filter the data, but maybe we filter useful information, and still we don't know sometimes. So a lot of work has to be done here, no question about it. Uncertainty is a big thing. That's uncertainty of data, also how does it affect the future decisions and so on. Very important, very difficult. Thank you for your question. Any other question?
Someone else? Okay, I guess no more questions. So I invite Professor Pardalos to take a seat. And I invite, all the members of the committee to come behind my back, okay? Okay, so we are ready, almost ready. I will read, the proclamation in Italian, and then I will try to translate. Okay, because by law I have to read in Italian. Okay, then I will translate it. Okay. Per I poteri conferitimi dalla legge, is for the powers conferred on me by law, viste le deliberazioni on the basis of different deliberations, in particolare del Collegio Docenti del Dottorato in Information Technologies del 21 settembre 2020. The first deliberation is by our scientific board of our PhD in ICT on 21st September 2020. The second deliberation del Consiglio di Dipartimento di Ingegneria Informatica, Modellistica, Elettronica e Sistemistica del 23 ottobre 2020. The second deliberation is based on our department committee scientific board on 23rd October 2020. The third deliberation, la terza deliberazione del Senato accademico del 22 novembre 2022. So the third deliberation is based on the Academic Senate of University of Calabria in the date 22nd of November 2022. And considerata l'approvazione, so consider the approval, the final approval of del Ministero dell'Istruzione, dell'Università e della Ricerca del 21 marzo 2023 of the Minister of Instruction, University and Research of 21st of March 2023, this year. We are glad to confer, conferiamo to Professor Panos Pardalos, who was born in Drossato, Mesilo, Argitea, Greece, in the 17th of June 1954. Professor Panos Pardalos, nato a Drossato, Mesilo, Argitea, Grecia, il 17 giugno 1954, il dottorato di ricerca Honoris Causa in Information and Communication Technology, the PhD Honoris Causa in Information and Communication Technologies. Congratulations. Please. Come here. Panos, come here, because you have to sign.
No, you.
And here. No, dobbiamo firmare tutti, eh?
Now we should sign, all of us, we should sign this and then we will have
Okay, I will just stop, the signature process, so to give, the pergamena, okay? and maybe someone could take some picture. Okay, so please, Panos, come here. And I'm pretty glad, you know, to
Thank you so much.
give you the pergamena, and this is your photo.
Big one.
Okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, the picture.
Thank you so much, especially for Magna Graecia.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, this is yours. So put here. Adesso completiamo le nostre firme, perché altrimenti poi è difficile da recuperare tutti.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the efforts. Not easy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mantenetevi a metà. Sì, a metà. Quanti metterla qua? Io sì.